I don't know when I became an unrelenting optimist. It wasn't always like this. There was a period in my life, and basically from my conscious memories from childhood, the world was always dark and depressing. And I once wrote an essay about the colors of my life when I had become this bubbly, joyous, optimistic, sunshiny person. And the color for the earlier years of my life was black. Somewhere along the line, when exactly, I don't remember, but somewhere along the line, I became this very optimistic, very positive view of life person. And I can always see, or almost always see, the good in every situation. Obviously, not all the time. On some days, it's harder than others, but generally, typically, I'm quite positive and optimistic about many things. In fact, my theme of life is today is the best day ever. And I say that literally almost every day. And so much so that my friend actually designed something for me and I printed it and pasted it and framed it and put it in my house when I was in Nigeria. But now I just printed it and pasted it on the wall because I don't have time for trying to figure out how to frame things. But that's by the way. The point is, I am extremely optimistic, and I believe that this is the best way to go about life, because I have seen the opposite way, the nihilistic, woe is me, everything is terrible, everything is pointless, in my high functioning depression periods in life. And it wasn't fun. This way is more fun. This way is definitely more fun. And for me, I think that people tend to mix up having a positive, optimistic view of life and being, for for lack of a better word, delusional. I think that optimism and being delusional are quite different. To be delusional is to hold beliefs that are not true about external reality, or make judgments about like reality that are objectively false, despite clear evidence to the contrary. To be delusional is to make faulty judgments. And that is not what optimism is. Optimism is to be hopeful about what's next. And the opposite of that is pessimism, which is to be like, whatever is all terrible, there's no point. Nothing good can ever come out of this. And I think that pessimism and nihilism are quite linked, although people talk about optimistic nihilism, which is something that I discovered quite recently. But I'm going to focus on my own just simple optimism, because I haven't read enough about nihilistic optimism to talk about it. But yeah, pessimism is saying I'm in a tunnel and there's never going to be any light and I'm stuck here forever. While Delulu is being in a tunnel and saying, la la la, I am not in a dark tunnel. It's bright and it's light and it's beautiful. That is an objectively false statement. Optimism is, yeah, I'm currently in this tunnel, but eventually, if I keep moving, if I keep going, I will see the light at the end of the tunnel. I will get there, and the light at the end of the tunnel is not going to be a train coming to hit me. That is pessimism. And that is how I think is the best way to get the good out of life. Yesterday, Valentine's Day, I went to the Body Works Museum in Amsterdam, which is a 7-floor building that contains bodies, like parts of the body, in great and very graphic details. Is not for the faint of heart. And the theme around it is happiness and joy and the pursuit of happiness. And there was a very interesting statistic that they put up there about the sources of happiness. And it was that 50% of our happiness or tendency to be happy comes from our genetics, 40% is from our thoughts, actions, and behaviors, and 10% from our circumstances. And so we can choose to be happy. Like, we can actually choose. There's an equal chance of us choosing to be happy and our genetics like fighting us in that part. I used to be very upset when people were always like, look on the bright side. This was when I was in my black, the old black and everything's dark and there is no good thing that is ever going to happen ever. And I was just like, there's no bright side, there's nothing good. But as I've grown older, I'm still quite young, but as I've grown older and I have become more optimistic and bubbly, and literally the world is yellow. That's the color of the world for me now because of the possibilities and the beauty and the brightness. And at the Body Worlds Museum, something that I saw there was see life as it is, but focus on the good bits. And that is exactly the perspective of being optimistic. It's not about whether the cup is half full or half empty. It's about there's water in the cup. And in the future, there could be more water. So, like, why am I bothering about whether it's half full or half empty? How about I enjoy the water and appreciate the fact that I have water in the cup and then move on from there? Is this hopeful, optimistic, positive point of view that allows us to keep taking the next step and keep seeing the good in others and keep hoping for the best and enables us to love and care and continue in doing things that can change something, that can move the needle, that can make us happier or more joyful, or make other people happier or more joyful. And that is why I think that it's important to be stupendously optimistic. So, where do we end this conversation? I don't know. What I do know is I have tasted the life of everything's pointless, there is no point, whatever happens, happens, we're going to die. And I'm currently tasting the life of it can be better, but now there's something good. Today is the best day ever. And I will live in the moment and do what I can to make my world a better place. And my world can be myself, the people closest to me, the people I encounter daily. And I think that this way is the better way, is in this way that I am able to draw people in and connect to people and build relationships and have a life that is joyful, not just happy, because our state of happiness can go up and down depending on situations and blah, blah, blah. But I can choose joy always. And for me, knowing that I have the Spirit of God in me enables me to maintain that joy and to live in that place of joy. Again, this doesn't mean that I don't get sad and I don't cry and things don't suck. It happens. Things suck sometimes. Bad things happen. And I can acknowledge that those things happen and have happened or are happening, and I can still find joy in the moments of my life. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you enjoyed this episode or found any part of it insightful, don't forget to share with your friends on your social media, and be sure to leave a comment or a review if you can on your podcast listening app. Thank you.